clock is ticking. It's not a gentle hum in the background. It's a relentless hammer striking the anvil of your life, forging you or breaking you with every blow. Most of you will hear it and do nothing. You'll let it pound you into dust, scattered by the wind of wasted days. But some of you will grab that hammer, wield it, and shape something unbreakable. I'm here to drag you out of the shadows of mediocrity, to shove you face first into the abyss of your potential, and to teach you how to claw your way to the top. This isn't about hope. This isn't about comfort. This is about survival in a world that doesn't care if you live or rot. I've walked through the dark. I've stood at the edge of nothing, broke, hollow, staring into a void that wanted to swallow me whole. And I climbed out. Not because I'm special, not because the stars aligned, but because I learned to bend time and energy to my will. I turned minutes into millions, hours into empires. And now, I'm going to burn 3 rules into your skull. 3 unforgiving laws that will either save you or damn you, depending on what you do with them. These aren't suggestions. They're weapons. Pick them up or get crushed. Rule 1. The 4 blades of time. Time isn't your friend. It's a predator stalking you through the underbrush of your life, waiting for you to stumble so it can tear you apart. You don't get to negotiate with it. You don't get to beg. You either master it or it devours you. The first rule is about carving time into something you can wield. A blade with 4 edges. Each edge cuts away the useless, the trivial, the weak. Learn these or bleed out. The first edge, do it. If it takes less than 2 minutes, you don't think, you act. You don't scribble it on some pathetic to-do list to feel productive while it festers. You don't let it sit there, mocking you. You strike. A message to send? Send it. A call to make? Dial the damn number. I've seen people waste more time planning to act than it would take to just finish the thing. 2 minutes is your line in the sand. Cross it, or it buries you. The second edge. Delegate it. Stop clutching every task like it's your precious little burden. If someone else can do it, if someone else should do it, let them. You're not a martyr. You're not here to drown in grunt work while the world moves past you. Hand it off. Free your hands for the fight that matters. I've watched people cling to meaningless chores, thinking it proves something. It doesn't. It proves you're scared to let go, scared to trust, scared to rise. Cut that weakness loose. The third edge. Defer it. Not everything screaming in your face deserves your attention right now. Some things need to wait. Days, weeks, months. But you don't just kick them down the road and forget. You lock them away where you can see them later, where they won't claw at your mind like restless ghosts. I've got a graveyard of tasks that aren't dead. They're just sleeping. I'll wake them when the time's right. You need that discipline, that cold clarity, or you'll choke on the weight of 1,000 open wounds. The fourth edge. Delete it. This is the sharpest cut, the one that bleeds the most. If it doesn't serve your purpose, if it doesn't drag you closer to the summit of your goals, you kill it. Even if you want to do it. Even if it's fun. Even if it's safe. Every yes to something trivial is a no to your destiny. Every yes to comfort is a no to the fire that could forge you. Learn to say no. Not politely. Not with excuses. Say it like a guillotine dropping. Final. Unapologetic. No is your shield. No is your sword. Wield it, or watch your dreams bleed out on the altar of someone else's agenda. You think this is easy? It's not. It's a war against yourself. Against the lazy, soft part of you that wants to say yes to everything. That wants to scribble lists and feel busy instead of being ruthless. But here's the truth. If you don't have a framework to slay time, time will slay you. It'll drag you into the dark, chain you to a life of regret, and laugh as you wonder where it all went. I've seen it happen. I felt the pull, but I fought back with these 4 blades, and I carved my way out. You can too, if you've got the guts. Rule 2. The fire within. Time's just the battlefield. The real war is energy. You can slice your days into perfect little chunks, but if you're running on fumes, you're already dead. I used to think it was about cramming more in, more meetings, more calls, more hustle. I was wrong. I'd fill my hours with noise, saying yes to every shadow that crossed my path, until I was a husk stumbling through my own life. I'd break my best hours with pointless interruptions, sabotage my own flow, and wonder why I felt like I was drowning. That's not living. That's surviving. Barely. Energy isn't infinite. It's a flame. Wild, precious, and finite. You don't manage time. You manage the fire that fuels it. Burn out, and you're ash. Tend it right, and you'll light up the damn world. Here's how you keep it alive. First, schedule for energy. Your day isn't a blank slate. It's a rhythm, a pulse. There are hours when your mind is a blade, sharp and ready to cut through anything. There are hours when it's a hammer, steady and strong for building. And there are hours when it's a whisper, quiet and reflective. Know them. Own them. I guard my mornings like a fortress. Those are for creation, for the work that demands my soul. Afternoons, that's when I collide with others. Calls, collaboration, the clash of ideas. Nights, I sift through the ashes, reviewing, planning, setting the stage for tomorrow. If I mix that up, if I let the wrong task invade the wrong hour, I'd waste the flame. I'd flicker out. You will too, unless you learn your rhythm and defend it like it's your last breath. Second, batch the war. Every task has a flavor, a flow. Writing demands silence and focus. Talking demands presence and spark. Jumping between them is like throwing water on your fire. It sputters, smokes, and dies. Group your work. Stack it like ammunition. If it's words you're crafting, write until the page bleeds. If it's people you're facing, talk until the room shakes. I've seen fools bounce from a budget meeting to a sales pitch to a brainstorming session, and they wonder why they're exhausted. It's not the work, it's the switching. Every shift costs you. Stop paying that price. Batch it. Burn clean. Third, steal the gaps. There's time you don't even see, moments between the cracks. I call it net time, no extra time. Use it. When I'm moving, when I'm waiting, when I'm stuck, I don't waste it. I forged deals while the world blurred past me, turned idle hours into masterminds with minds sharper than mine. I've walked through the mundane with purpose, letting it fuel me instead of drain me. You've got those gaps too. Stop staring at them like they're nothing. They're yours to take. Wring them dry. Energy isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, when it matters, with everything you've got. The best don't burn out. They burn brighter. They don't reset because they never break. I've watched others crash, blaming the hustle, blaming the grind. No. They crashed because they didn't respect the flame. They let it gutter out in a storm of chaos they built themselves. Don't be that fool. Feed your fire. Guard it. Wield it. Because once it's gone, no amount of time will bring it back. Rule 3. The chains you break. You're not a machine. You're not a slave to some sacred schedule you scribbled in blood 6 months ago. You're alive, messy, changing, raw. And that means you're allowed to adjust. This is the third rule, the one that sets you free or buries you deeper, depending on how you use it. Most people don't. They lock themselves in cages of their own making. Commitments they hate, promises they regret, yeses they'd never say today. They drown in overwhelm, choking on a calendar they built when they were someone else. I've been there. I've felt the chains, and I broke them. The other day I saw a man unraveling, eyes wild, voice trembling, crushed under a mountain of shoulds. He'd said yes to everything, months back, and now his life was a prison of his own design. I told him what I'm telling you. Make a list. Write down every damn thing you wouldn't say yes to if it came knocking tonight. Then break those chains. Renegotiate. Walk away. Say no. You're not a coward for it. You're a warrior. You're reclaiming your soul from the jaws of obligation. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Review. Every week, stare into the mirror of your calendar. Ask yourself, does this still serve me? Does this pull me toward the fire of my goals? Or does it drag me back into the mud? Things that lit you up once might be dead weight now. Things that fed your energy might be leeches sucking it dry. You're allowed to see that. You're allowed to change your mind. I do it every Sunday, ruthlessly, without apology. It's not a chore. It's a ritual. It's me taking my life back. Step 2. Adjust. This is where the blood spills. You've got to face the conversations, the awkward silences, the disappointed stares. But you do it. You say, I can't. Not anymore. You don't owe them your life. I've got a trick for this. If it's something I'd say no to tonight, it's a no forever, even if it's months away. Test it. Feel the weight lift when you cut the rope. It's not betrayal. It's survival. It's you choosing you. Step 3. Expand. Once you've cleared the wreckage, don't just sit there. Fill the space with what scares you, what grows you, what sets your veins on fire. Add the goals that make your pulse race, the skills that make your hands shake, the relationships that demand you level up. I hunt for the things that give me vertigo, the ones that whisper, you're not ready. That's how I know they're right. Growth isn't comfortable. It's a beast. Feed it. If you don't protect your time, you'll die by 1,000 cuts. Paper cuts, sure, but they'll bleed you dry all the same. There's an old saying, don't trust someone who never says no. They'll say yes to everyone and deliver nothing. But someone who says no, they know their worth. They know their path. When they say yes, it's ironclad. I've never missed a fight I committed to. Never bailed on a stage, a team, a promise. But if it's not my war, it's a no. Hard, fast, final. You need that spine. Because if you don't take your time seriously, no one else will. They'll carve it up, feast on it, and leave you with the scraps. Here's the dark heart of it all. Every choice you make ripples. Say yes to the wrong thing, and you're not just losing time. You're losing the people who matter most. You're saying no to the ones you'd die for, the ones who'd bleed for you. I've felt that sting. I've looked at a packed day and realized every yes to some meaningless meeting was a no to my family, my roots, my soul. That's not hustle. That's betrayal. Picture it. You say yes to a favor, a distraction, a quick call. You think it's nothing, but it's everything. It's time you'll never get back. Time you stole from the ones who trade their last breath to have you there. When I frame it like that, when I see the faces I love on the other side of every decision, it's easy to say no. It's easy to stand firm. Because if I don't value my time, who will? If I don't fight for it, who's left to lose? Choose the abyss or the apex. So here we are. The clock's still hammering. The abyss is still waiting. You've got 3 rules, 3 weapons, to climb out or fall in. Master time with the 4 blades. Do it. Delegate it. Defer it. Delete it. Feed your fire with energy. Schedule it, batch it, steal it. Break your chains and rise. Review, adjust, expand. That's the path. That's the war. I've walked it. I've bled for it. I've turned nothing into everything. Not because I'm better, but because I refuse to let the dark win. You can too. But it's not free. It's not gentle. It's a fight. Gritty, ugly, relentless. Most won't make it. Most will crumble, clutching their excuses like lifelines as they sink. But you've got a shot. You've got the tools. The question is, will you use them? The world doesn't care. The clock doesn't stop. The abyss doesn't forgive. So stand up, swing the hammer, light the fire, break the chains. Because if you don't, no one will. And that's the darkest truth of all. To my GrimFace warriors, those of you who've been here, bleeding in the shadows, swinging the hammer alongside me, thank you. You're the iron in this fire, the ones who've stared into the abyss and spat in its face. Your scars prove it. You're not just surviving, you're forging something unstoppable. Respect. And to the new blood watching, the ones teetering on the edge, welcome. This is the GrimFace movement. It's not a club, not a feel-good circle. It's a war against weakness, a brotherhood of the relentless. You've seen the weapons: time, energy, will. Pick them up. Join us. Step into the dark and fight for your place at the apex. The abyss is calling. Answer it with a roar. Hit that subscribe, lock in, and let's build something the world can't ignore. GrimFace rises. Will you?